What's up, Mom Nation, and welcome back to another. I can't even talk today, Darien. Oh my gosh, where's my coffee? Welcome back to another episode of Her Inner Circle. I am Katie. This is my amazing co-host, Darien. How are you today?
Hello, friends. Good. Thank you, Katie.
So nice to see you and have you on.
Always. Thank you.
Oh, yes. And guys, I just want to remind you before we dive into this particular topic, and I am really excited about this topic, and I will share why in a minute. I just shared it with Darien. But if you guys are finding value in these shows, if you're really appreciating that Darien and I come together and we have these conversations, then please do us a favor, reach up and click the follow button or the subscribe button on whatever platform you are listening or watching on. Sends us a great big hug and it tells us we just need to keep showing up, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
So please do that for us. All right. So for today's show, and this is the perfect person to have this conversation with because she is like an absolute ninja at this, and I am not. But today we're talking about how to host a get together without stress, without overthinking it, without the pressure of making everything perfect, which is how I am. Because the truth is, I think most of us are looking for connection. We want connection, but we tend to overcomplicate things or put it off completely when we're feeling that anxiety about the get together or about hosting or about inviting a group of friends over or whatever the case may be. I can tell you that I am absolutely hands down one of those people. If you are a Mom Nation follower, then you may have caught an episode a couple of months ago. It was around the holidays. It was a mental wealth episode with Laura Wood and I. Laura is a licensed therapist, and she and I spoke about my severe anxiety when I am hosting events such as holidays at my house. So I have linked to that show in the show notes. If you guys are feeling like me, if you do get that anxiety and you kind of want like a I don't know, get you ready for this next topic, then I definitely would check that show out because Laura dove into it with me pretty deeply, and I appreciate her for that. So let's chat about events. Now, the reason why I said this is the absolute perfect person for us to have this conversation with is because Darien is amazing at events. So I haven't had the opportunity yet to attend one of her events, but I watch them from afar. She shares them online on her social media, and they look so well put together, and everybody is so happy, and everything looks perfect. Darien, how do you do it? Where's your magic wand?
So I love that it looks that way. um, they all take a lot of planning and prepping and all of those things, but I love it so much that it feels, I don't want to say effortless, but it feels simple to me. So truly, it comes down to I guess the fact that I've hosted so many events, even before having a physical space. Back in the day, I was always hosting a happy hour or a girls' night or a party. I mean, this has been going on my entire life. I mean, I'll just tell you as an example, when I was in school, I've always been very social. I used to get in trouble for talking all the time because that was my favorite thing about school was the social interaction. So I love getting people together. I love parties. So the actual planning of it doesn't feel that stressful to me because I'm just so excited to see everybody, have a good time with them. And I thought for a long time it was because I'm like a recovering people pleaser. But I genuinely think it's because I just love the party. I love it when it all comes together and everybody comes and they have a great time. And it just feels again, not easy but simple because I planned so many parties. I've done events at other people's spaces for them. I've planned markets and parties and mixers and I mean name it. So I've had a lot of practice.
I love that. And thank you for sharing that background. And I love that it comes so naturally to you. And it just feels like a natural piece of you to extend to do this, for your friends and I'm sure family and acquaintances and all of that jazz. As I was thinking through the topic and thinking about myself with the severe anxiety, I am not naturally a hostess. I was thinking, like, why not put together a little kind of checklist or something where I can um, remove that decision fatigue, right? That really gets us, or remove that anxiety about, am I forgetting something? Is this perfect? Is that perfect? And just kind of give myself a checklist to go by. And honestly, writing out this checklist made me feel more comfortable. I might just host something this year. You never know.
Yes.
So I
Invite
want
us all.
I would love to. I would love to. So I want to start at the top of my checklist, and I'd love to get your feedback on the different portions of it and kind of what I concluded, and see if maybe we can add to my checklist a little bit, or if you think that it's okay how it is. But the first thing that I thought was really important is thinking about like setting the tone, right? Like hosting isn't necessarily about impressing people, right? That's not why we host an event typically. I feel like it's more about creating a space where people feel comfortable, welcome, connected. And as I sort of thought through that, I was like, well, thinking about events that I have attended that I wasn't hosting, I didn't really like when I remember it, I don't remember what their house looked like. I don't really remember like what they served for food, but I do remember the time that I had, the good time that I had, and how I felt. And so I kind of settled on that as being a really important piece of moving forward with hosting an event. Like, let's do something where people remember how they felt when they were in your presence or when they were at your event. What do you think about that?
So I think that is probably one of the number one things of hosting a stress less event, um, is trying to connect with everybody at the event, and how you show up is going to be a reflection of how everybody feels. So if you're showing up stressed and asking them, "Oh my god, how's the deviled eggs?" or uh if you're showing up to your party stressed, they're all going to feel that. Everybody's
Right.
going to feel that. But if you show up relaxed, ready to connect, in a good mood, in good spirits, that's when they're really going to feel that difference of, man, that was a great party. And and let's face it, they're coming for you. If they're coming to your party, it's because it's somebody in your life that cares about you, that wants to be in your presence, and of course the other people that are going to be at the party. But just taking a little bit of time to try to connect with some everybody at your event, just so one of the things that I do whenever I'm hosting an event is I float. I'll go over here to this group of people, to this group of people. If I see somebody that's kind of sitting by themselves, I'll go and talk to them, introduce them to somebody, and just kind of, and then continue that, introducing this person to this person. Have you met this person? Oh, this is so and so. Did you know that she blah blah blah, and you guys have this in common? So I think that's a big piece of it, is trying to connect others and trying to stay out of your own head as far as how the party is going.
Yeah. Yeah. Good advice. So, the next thing that I started to talk about as I was working through, or started to think about as I was working through this checklist, was the amount of guests. Now, something that causes anxiety for me, I was going to say used to, but it still does. I haven't hosted since that a podcast episode came out. I haven't hosted. Um, but I concluded with like, we don't necessarily need our entire guest list to show up. And what happens if some of them don't? And how do we not take that personally?
So, being that I've hosted so many different events and parties, and I've also been on the other side of it where I've been invited to an event or a party, and I'm like, I just don't feel like going anywhere. It has nothing to do with the person, the event, whatever the case may be. I just don't feel like going anywhere today. And
Mm.
as excited as I was when I RSVP'd, today I'm not feeling it, especially if it's at nighttime. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah.
And anything after 5 o'clock, I'm kind of out. I mean, I'm getting a little bit more adventurous these days, but um, it's that's how I try not to take it personally as I put myself in their shoes and say, I just really didn't feel like going anywhere today. And I love it when they're honest about it. If they're just like, I'm just not feeling it today. And then letting me know that, I feel like that makes me feel a little bit better too, instead of just not showing up. So
Yeah.
um, just a heads up, I'm not going to make it tonight. I hope you have a great party. Even if there's no excuse or no reason, I think it's just common courtesy, and that makes me feel a little bit better. But it's one of those things I just really try not to take it personally because, again, I've been in their shoes before.
Yeah. And I think back to some events that I have attended, and, maybe the attendance was a little on the lower side, but gosh, those were the funnest ones.
They really can be when there's a small group of people and you
Yeah.
get to know some people that you maybe not have had the opportunity to talk before, and you're just laughing your asses off. I mean, yes.
And you can, you know, get a deeper connection when you're hanging out with people for a little bit of a longer time, because like you just mentioned, when you have a lot of people and you want to work the room and you want to talk to everybody and introduce each other, people to each other, what's the amount of time that you actually get to spend with everybody in that scenario?
Yes. At the Galentine's party we had in February, by the end of the night, I finally got around to the girls I haven't had a chance to chat with yet. I'm like, and it was over. Um, we followed up with coffee afterwards or whatever, but you're right. I mean, I had invited 20, I think 15 came. And by the end of the night, I realized, okay, I did get to talk to everybody, but not for very long. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes those small gatherings the more intimate gatherings can be even more beneficial, just depending on what you're going for, I guess.
Yeah. And I feel like that when I think about, hey, let's just let it unfold naturally, whoever's going to, is meant to be here is going to come, and let's just appreciate and enjoy them, then I feel the anxiety go down a little bit about the guest list thing, because that's a big thing for me is the guest list.
Yeah, and try not to have expectations. That's the way I look at it. Like, especially because I've had those events that were dogs. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like vendor events where we've got all these people that show up with all of their amazing things that they've made, and they put all this effort into showing up for like a little market, a little vendor event, and you don't get the turnout, and it's just like, oh,
Uh,
it's just crushing. I mean, there's only so much that I can do. There's only so much marketing I can do. It's all of our goals to get people there. So everybody's doing marketing, and they're just not always going to hit.
mhm.
So in those cases, I really try to support them, maybe purchase an item from them or just spend some time with them, so they don't feel all is lost.
Yeah, that makes sense. The next thing that I started to talk about, and we just kind of entered that, it's kind of funny how that naturally happens, is the format. Picking an easy format. Like, is it going to be a coffee get together, or is it a potluck, or is it a card night, or cribbage night, or bunko, like Jen does, right?
Mhm.
Like picking a format where there's like a theme or a thing that you can build around, I feel that makes it a little bit less anxious for me, because then I don't have to necessarily worry about being the entertainment.
I love a theme. Any event, any party, anything I've ever put together, there's going to be some type of theme. I've done white parties, but then you've got holiday parties, New Year's parties. We've done full moons. I mean, it is endless. And what's great about it is, to your point, you can have cool little, maybe it's a game or um like at our Galentine's party, it was like a secret Santa, but it was like a Galentine's gift giving.
Cute.
Oh, it was so much fun. And so just once you attach to a theme and you decide to run with it, the options are endless. And I think it does take a little bit of the stress away because you get all these different ideas. Of course, there's Pinterest, there's ChatGPT, there's so many different options of ways of finding things that go along with the theme. So I think
Yeah.
a theme is 100% the way to go. So whether it's, I mean, if you're just doing a coffee date with a couple of girlfriends, you're not going to be like, well, let's all wear red. I mean, you might.
Well, the purple
So
hat ladies do that. Is it? Aren't they the purple hat ladies?
it's either red or purple hats. I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking about, but yeah, I mean, why not? It could make it a little bit more fun and a little bit more memorable if you add in some type of theme.
And do you think back to guests, because this kind of like goes hand in hand with this topic. Do you think that helps your guests that maybe have social anxiety if there's a theme, like have maybe a little less social anxiety because they don't feel so pressured to have to be the entertainment or have to be the conversation starter, that kind of thing?
So it could really go either way. Because I'll tell you, at this last party I had, the Galentine's party, it was bring an appetizer to share, and then you're bringing your secret Santa gift, right? And it could be anything. You think of a group of middle-aged women. What do we like,
Yeah.
right? Um, so there was a little bit of anxiety of some friends that were like, "Well, I don't know what to bring. What should I do?" So it
Oh.
could really go either way, depending on the person, I think. So there was some guests that were a little anxious about it and some that were really excited about it.
So you had
And
both
we're like,
sides.
you had both sides. Some people that went all out with their appetizer and some that bought store bought, which was fine. And I made sure I said that in the invite. Like, don't try not to stress out over this. I even said that in the invite. Don't stress about the gift. Even if it's just like a gift card, or even if you don't want to participate, that's okay too. Just
Hmm.
come. So I think depending on the person, it could add a sprinkle of anxiety, or depending on the friend, they might get really excited about your theme.
Well, I love what you just said about putting some information in the invite. So, hey, don't stress about the food. Don't stress about the appetizers that you bring. It's totally cool with me if you go, over to Fry's and go to the deli counter and grab a quick salad, like whatever. Um, what about also like your example for the Galentines? What about also putting in some, gift ideas
Oh, I
in
love
there?
that. I love that. And I did sprinkle in like candles or gift cards, or you know and kind of sharing with your what the other who the other guests are going to be. So like I mentioned, a lot of middle-aged women. There were some younger women that joined us, but for the most part, we're pretty like-minded. I think most of the people I hang out with are pretty like-minded. So all the guests, all of the gifts, like were right on. I mean, they were perfect. So I like to put something in my invitations, just as far as here's what to expect without overloading them with information, but just some comments to help them feel a little bit more comfortable. Because
I love
because it's
that.
not the first time that somebody has been nervous about what they're going to bring.
Well, and let's talk about that. So let's flip it back to the food conversation, and let's take it from the perspective of the hostess that is putting out a spread, because this is something that I freak out about all the time. And thankfully, like y'all know, I've said it a zillion times on this channel. Like I don't cook. Okay, cooking not my ball game. Not this girl. I don't belong in a kitchen. I just don't. My husband, however, I think he was born in the kitchen. I don't really know for sure, but I think he was, because he's so comfortable there and he always knows he's every bone in his body is a host bone, I swear. And we're like total opposite, but he knows what to make and he knows what to get and he knows how to set it out and he knows when it's time for appetizers and he knows when it's time for little snacky chips and he knows this. I don't know this stuff. So for somebody like me who is wanting to put something on, put it on a little spread, but not freak out about it, first and foremost, I love what you said, is store bought is okay.
Store bought's okay. And that's the thing is, quit putting so much pressure on yourself. And you know what else I've done a lot in the past? Cater. Even if it's
Yeah.
something as simple as going and picking up, what my favorite place is? I'm gonna do a plug for Nando's right now. They have these like appetizer platters that are relatively inexpensive and will feed a horde of people. So quit putting so much pressure on ourselves to cook,
Mm.
or because believe it or not, I'm not much of a cook either. I like to order things and have them delivered to my house, or go pick it up. And I my go-to is Mexican all the time because it's always good and you can feed a ton of people.
Hmm.
So to your point, get the store bought. Don't stress about it. Nobody cares.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't. Like I've been to a bunch of parties and again, couldn't tell you what they served for food. Couldn't tell you. Don't I'm sure it was great. I'm sure I ate and it was good and everything was great. I was more I could more tell you about the conversations that I had.
Sure. The
I could more
connections
tell
you made.
exactly. The
Hmm.
food, great. Yeah, we need to fill our bellies. We need a little something to munch, whatever. But it's not that big of a deal. I'm saying it to myself, you guys, honestly, because it is something that I've stressed about in the past. What about creating a comfortable space? Now, something that you mentioned in the very beginning is how your energy sets the tone. So if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling off the mark, like your people are going to feel that. So that's important to keep in mind. But what about like spending the 3 days prior on your hands and knees scrubbing floors and baseboards and crap like that? Like, do we need to be perfectly clean? Because nobody lives like that.
Nobody lives like that. And I'll be honest with you, the last couple of parties I've had, I've hired a house cleaner
Hmm. Hmm.
because I'm just don't want to have to worry about it. Have them come do it and it's done. They come on a Friday, the party Saturday, house is done. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to do it. But to your point, if a house cleaner, you don't have time for that. Just make sure it looks tidy, the immediate space. It doesn't You don't have to get down on your knees and scrub the floors because to your point, nobody lives like that and your people don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all there is to it. Your people don't care.
Yeah. They're probably not going to be checking out your baseboards. I mean, look, side note, I'm a realtor. I look at baseboards, but not everybody does. Now I'm not going to get any invites to any parties during.
Because Katie's going to be looking at my baseboards.
Yeah, everyone's like, screw that. She's not coming over my house.
Well, and the other thing is like lighting. I mean, you can
Mm.
dim the lights, make it, put on some candles. You can't see the dirt.
Can't see it when the lights are dim.
I
I'm
have galaxy lights that I put out. I mean, just lighting makes all the difference.
I'm glad that you brought that up because I agree. Lighting makes a lot of makes the difference. I love it when I'm at a party and there's music in the background.
Mhm.
So I think
Oh
that's
yeah, so this is
important.
not weird, awkward silences.
Yeah, yeah. Music in the background is big. How do you feel? Is this something that you do? You had mentioned lighting candles, so like scented candles. Some people can be a little bit sensitive to that, so I'm always
Hmm.
back. I'm one of those people, so I'm always kind of
Hmm.
back and forth about ugh, what. Like the last party that I had, I put my scented candle on and then I snuffed it out kind of before they got there because it was bothering me, but it still had the scent in the air. So like the purpose for me doing that was still there. What about like battery operated candles? Those can set
Hmm.
some mood lighting. Something that I know a lot of ladies in our atmosphere do is the essential oil mister.
Yeah, the diffuser.
There we
Hmm.
go.
Hmm.
You have the proper name for that.
Well, I've got a few.
So
Um,
is that something you do?
oh yeah, absolutely. I have the LED candles and the little remote for them. Or I do little tea lights that are unscented because they're just cute to have around. I'll put them on like the food table. And I also like a candle in the bathroom during an event.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something lightly scented in the bathroom because I am sensitive to scents as well.
What scent do you usually go with? I've always learned that like most humans like the smell of vanilla.
Mhm. I don't like vanilla and I don't like lavender,
That's so
which
funny.
is
You're the only one. Just kidding.
I am the only one, and I'll tell you, when I give Reiki, I offer essential oils for the session, and I show that we have lavender or vanilla, but I'm always excited when they don't choose either one of those.
Nobody picks it. That's so funny.
No, everybody picks lavender.
Oh, do they? Do they?
Oh
That's
yeah,
funny. What we learned
absolutely.
in, I think it was real estate school, I learned about vanilla being the most easiest scent for humans that tend to like it. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
things have changed in the 20 years, since.
the Bath and Body Works warm vanilla sugar may have killed that for us, for all of
Oh,
us.
true that. True that. The next thing that I have felt some anxiety about in my past is about like the flow of the event. So, like, where people walk in, where are they going to naturally gather? How does that work together? Because you don't want to have a whole group of people standing in the way of the entryway that people are going to walk in, right? Like, that's awkward for people to walk into. So, is that anything that you've put some thought into? I'm sure you have. And do you have any tips or advice on that?
People naturally gravitate to the kitchen,
Mm,
always.
mm,
That's where the food is. It's easy to stand around and talk to each other. The couch, living room situation's a little bit more awkward. Everybody is going to gravitate to the kitchen. So make it comfortable in there. Put a couple chairs in there. I mean, most people have an island. So if you have an island, make sure there's a couple chairs there. Make sure there's plenty of seating at your table so people can kind of hang out in there. At the Galentine's event we just had, we had it so you had your purse table, you sat your purse down. The next table is where you put your little gift. And then you came into the kitchen and I made you a mocktail. And then there was the food. So everything kind of had a flow. So think
yeah.
about it how you would want it if you walked in, right? If you walked in and then we also had this really cute photo op. And we originally thought about putting it in the hallway. And I'm like, to your point, you're gonna have like a traffic jam in there. So we
Yeah.
moved it. We put it in the living room where there was a little bit more space and a little bit more light. So just thinking about how you would want it and what makes sense to you. But always know that everybody's going to gravitate to the kitchen anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
whether
I've
you like it
definitely
or not.
seen that. I have seen that for sure. The last piece on my checklist, and again, guys, I've got this linked in the show notes if you would like to use it and work from it, um, is to have kind of a loose plan. Like, we don't need to be, super perfect about it by any means, but obviously know your start time. Your guests need to know your start time. And then, how do you feel about having an end time? Because some people, some parties that I've been to or events that I've been to, it just like goes forever. And I feel like that can be really hard on the hostess.
I would totally agree. I would say back in the day, back in my turning up days, I would never add an end time to a party. It was like we're in, right? But nowadays, no. I want there to be an end time. Everybody knows that here's the end time and in my opinion, it's respectful and it's showing your friend, the hostess, "Hey, do you need any help cleaning up before I go?" Because, you know, um at the Galentine's party, everybody I put an end time and everybody was like exactly that. Do you need any help cleaning up anything before I go? I think it just shows that you care and respect the hostess, the host, when you put an end time and you stick to it.
I appreciate that. I agree. Like, it's helpful for me on both ends. As a hostess, I like knowing, okay, like I'm on until 9 o'clock or I'm on until 8 o'clock or whatever. And as a guest, I like knowing that too, because I don't want to overstay my welcome. I don't want them to be talking about me later, being like, that Katie girl, like, is she ever gonna leave? Did she have enough chips? You know what I mean?
Well, then if you start kind of cleaning up at 9 o'clock, just starting to tidy up a little bit and that was kind of that was part of the invite was we're ending at 9. So I don't think there is anything wrong with setting an end time unless you really don't care about people leaving,
Hmm. Yeah.
which
Well,
I mean, I'm in bed by 8 o'clock every night. So
hmm. Right. Like back in my 20s, maybe I felt like that, but now I don't
right.
know. Things are a little bit different. Well, that's the end of my list, Darian. How did I do?
You did great, but
Thanks.
there's one thing that we didn't mention that I think is really important, and one thing that really has helped the success of my events is ask for help,
Mm,
especially if it's again, this is never to dog men, but women love to help. They are clamoring to help you.
That's
So if
true.
somebody asks you if you want help, say yes. I've hosted a lot of potlucks, even the vendor events that I've done. I'm like, everybody bring a dish, bring something to put at, like, I like to do charcuterie tables. So I'll say, okay, you're bringing fruit, you're bringing crackers, you're bringing cheese, you're bringing meat, and it all comes together and it's beautiful. But don't be afraid to ask people for help because they do want to help you.
Thank you for adding that piece. That is, I mean, this may surprise you, but that's difficult for me to do, is to accept
Same.
help, or to ask for help, I should say.
Mhm.
Accepting help, I'm getting a lot better at, especially with my mom. I'll accept help
Mhm.
from her all day long. She knows exactly what to do, when to, I don't even know how, but she knows. So I definitely accept her help when she offers it. And she's amazing. But it's something that I've really had to work on. And we could probably have a whole other episode about why women are wired like that.
Mhm.
Wanting to be so helpful, right? Because you hit the nail on the head. I'm constantly asking my friends, what can I do? How can I help you? Like, what, give me something, you know? But then on the other side of the coin, we're like hesitant to ask. So I appreciate you bringing that up. That's super important.
And it doesn't have to be perfect. That's the other thing, is like there's no such thing as perfect. So it doesn't have to be perfect. If you forget something, you forgot to put out the crackers, or somebody didn't show up, or you only got a small group of people. Look, it does not have to be perfect. Just go in, have a good time, and go in with the intention of it, just enjoying your people.
Yeah, totally agree. Because bottom line, if we go back to our why, our reason for doing it, that was our reason.
It's not because you want to have some perfect party where everybody's going to go post all the pictures and talk about what a perfect party it was. It's
Exactly.
it's it's to host your people and enjoy them. I,
Exactly.
I think. I hope.
I mean, I definitely think.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, Darien. This was an awesome conversation. It certainly helped me a little bit. And, you know, you never know. Maybe you'll be invited to a Katie event here sometime soon. And then
Ooh.
we can see how that checklist works.
Let me know if you need any help.
I appreciate that. I will. All right,
This was
guys.
fun.
It was fun, and hopefully it
Mhm.
was helpful to y'all out there. I think it was well timed too. I mean, you know, we're coming up on summertime where there's going to be graduations and Mother's Day and all sorts of opportunities for us to have events. So hopefully this was helpful to you guys. If you want to check out any of our previous episodes about how to be a good girlfriend, about her inner circle, I mean, really the name of this podcast sums up what we talk about here so well. Then hop on over to our YouTube channel. It is at Mom Nation USA. Scroll down just a little ways. You will see the bright green playlist, and that is her inner circle. Or on your favorite podcast platform, do a quick search for Mom Nation Talk Radio. I almost lost my train of thought there for a second.
It's
And
a
I'm like, nah.
mouthful.
Well, I say this in my sleep at this
Right.
point. It's so funny. But Mom Nation Talk Radio, that is our podcast channel. We hope to see you guys there, and we hope to see you next month. Bye-bye, Darien.
Bye. Thank you, Katie. Bye, friends.
What if success didn't have to feel so exhausting? What if you could achieve more without burning out? Meet Darien Pruitt, a wellness guide and women's empowerment coach for high-achieving women who are ready to release burnout and realign with who they truly are through yoga, breathwork, and intentional movement, sound bath meditation, women's circles and community workshops, Reiki energy healing, and holistic mindfulness practices. Darien helps you reset your nervous system, reconnect with your body, and reclaim your inner power. It's time to stop running on empty, realign, restore, rise. Contact Darien Pruitt today and begin your transformation.